After the private pilot certificate, an instrument rating will take you into more new learning than any other airplane pilot certificate or rating. The commercial pilot certificate is an extension of what you learned while becoming a private pilot. A multi-engine rating mainly concerns handling a second engine, or perhaps, better stated, it's learning to fly a twin-engine airplane on one engine. The instrument rating is new and challenging. As you work toward the instrument rating, you are learning to control the airplane more precisely, to navigate by GPS and radio aids, to interact with air traffic control, and to execute instrument approaches. Your instrument flight training will begin by building a foundation of basic attitude instrument flying skills, learning to fly the airplane solely by reference to flight instruments. You'll practice a majority of this in the airplane, but you may use a flight training device or flight simulator as well to help master these skills. Next, you'll focus on refining your navigation procedures, learning to track and intercept VOR courses in simulated instrument conditions. You'll learn how to use all the functions of the IFR GPS in the panel and come away with an expert-level understanding of GPS navigation capabilities. Once you've mastered the skills for hand flying the airplane under the hood, you'll start to incorporate the use of the autopilot to better learn the role of automation when flying in the instrument system. The next phase of the instrument training focuses on operations in the terminal environment. You'll learn to work closely with ATC to receive IFR clearances, along with the various considerations for departing in instrument weather conditions. The majority of the time in this phase will be spent practicing instrument approaches, which is the most demanding part of instrument flying. You'll learn how to fly approaches using various navigation systems like VOR, ILS, and GPS, and how to transition to landing from an approach when the visibility is low and the clouds are close to the ground. The final phase of your instrument training covers instrument cross-country flying. This will allow you to take everything you've learned about instrument flying up to this point and put it into practice on several IFR trips while dealing with dynamic weather conditions. The requirements for an instrument rating are listed in the FAR 61.65 and include both ground and flight instruction. There is a knowledge test which covers regulations, aircraft instruments, radio navigation, flight planning, and route and approach procedures, and of course, weather. To take the knowledge test, you must also show that you have received ground instruction or completed a home study course, like this instrument rating course from Sporty's. A passing score on the knowledge test is valid for 24 calendar months. The practical portion of the instrument rating test must be completed within that time. You must have 50 hours of cross-country flight time as pilot in command, of which 10 hours must be in airplanes for an instrument airplane rating. A total of 40 hours of actual or simulated instrument time is required. At least 15 of these instrument hours have to be instruction from an authorized instructor in the aircraft category, likely airplane, for which the instrument rating is sought, and at least 3 of these hours of instruction must have been in preparation for the practical test within 2 calendar months preceding the date of the test. One cross-country flight performed under IFR must be 250 nautical miles in length with an instrument approach at each airport to include 3 different kinds of approaches with the use of navigation systems. As you progress through your instrument training, make it a point to reference the FAA Airman Certification Standards that are included with this course. This lists the subject matter covered on the knowledge test and the minimum performance standards for the oral and flight portions of the instrument practical test. You can use these certification standards as a yardstick to measure your progress toward the instrument rating for each task and maneuver. However, don't just settle for minimum acceptable competence. Strive to be better. After all, there's a lot riding with your ability and capability. Namely, you.